Hey there guys, and welcome back to Hursty Games, and today we have a bit more of FIFA 18 pre-release content. So obviously, yes, I got access to the beta, and yes, obviously we all have access to the demo. Sadly, I don't have access to the game right now. But what we do have access to is some of the players that have been, like, their stats and their cards have been released, and obviously there's a few players that we've been lucky enough to use in either the beta or the demo. And so what I've done is I've compiled two teams, just two small basic teams that I think will be very, very good and somewhat affordable for the release of FIFA 18. So for when the first couple of days the game is out, I'm lucky enough that I bought the 3-day early access. So the 26th I'll be getting the game, and for everyone else who does that, obviously you get it on the 26th. Otherwise, people get it on the 29th. As and when you purchase it, that's when it's available. So I have made two teams, like I said, of teams that I think will be quite good and quite affordable at the start of FIFA 18. So let's jump in and have a look at those teams. Okay, so as you can see here, the first team I've gone with is a BPL team, and I've made this team to one of the favourite formations I've enjoyed using across the beta and in the actual demo as well. It's a formation that I've kind of swapped and changed between, and it's a formation I loved in FIFA 14. And if it's anything like FIFA 14, without sounding cocky, I was pretty good at FIFA 14. I really enjoyed playing it, and it was my kind of play style. So hopefully, fingers crossed, the fact that I've gone back to that formation might mean good things, and the fact that I might enjoy this year as well. So let's have a little rundown of the team. In goal we have Begovic. Now he's 82 rated. There's a lot of keepers higher rated. I'm going to assume there's quite a few keepers lower rated, but Begovic has always been a bit of a standout, always been quite overpowered, quite effective in the game, and I think this year he's going to be the same. He's 82 rated, some pretty good looking stats, reflexes, handling and diving all above 81, or 81 and above I should say. So I think his card is going to be very, very good and quite affordable in my opinion. Now I've gone for a back three. The main thing I've really focused on here is mixing sort of defensive capabilities, physical and a bit of pace. So my pace in this back three is Stones. I use him in the beta and I use him in the demo, and he is very, very good in both. And I think this year he's going to be a very, very good underpriced centre back, and I think he's going to be quite heavily used. I think a lot of people are going to use him. 71 pace is quite impressive. 80 defence but 77 physical is a little bit lower, but I think it's livable. On the right hand side, and the weakest I would say of the three, well, he is 69 physical is the weakest, but he's got 84 defending, 64 pace, which is quite good for a centre back. And the reason I put him on the outside is mainly his defence and the physical. You're not going to get too many wingers that are that physical. Obviously there are some out there, but more often than not, a striker's more likely to be physical. I'm thinking Lukaku's going to be like tougher to knock off the ball than someone like Rashford. But otherwise I think his card looks very, very good, and 64 pace, like I said, is good enough in my opinion. And then we've got Winston Reid on the other side with 69 pace, 80 defence, 80 physical, and he's kind of the mix of the both. Nice and strong, and enough pace I think that will do a good job. And again, I put him on that other side because I think having the quicker person in the middle, for me, always personally, having the quickest in the middle means he can help and cover and go either way a little bit quicker if there's problems with either of your wide centre backs. Now, going into the middle four, a couple of people that I think people might be a bit like, really? Are you sure? But I'll talk through it. First of all, we have Morales on the left. A very, very nice, well-rounded card. Plus, he's got 4-star weak foot and 4-star skill moves. As I said in my video I did yesterday, and of course if you missed that, go and check it out, but it was all about crossing and how I think crosses and lobbed passes and stuff are going to be really, really effective this year in FIFA. And I think he's got perfect stats for that. He's got 77 passing, which is a nice stat for a winger. 83 dribbling, which means that he can actually get into those positions, I think, very well. And obviously the skill moves, if you're good at skill moves, that's going to be nice and helpful with you as well. But he's also got good shooting. 77 shooting, I thought, was a very, very good stat, especially for a wide play like that. So I think Morales will be a really, really good buy. On the other side, we've got Lingard, who is fairly similar, but the stats are just a little bit lower. So I mean, pace is the same, 3-star skill moves, but 80 dribbling, which is still nice and high. 74 shooting and 72 passing, so a little bit lower, but I think he is also going to be quite a bit cheaper. I think he's going to be a card that maybe just slips under the radar just a little bit, but I think that card looks really, really nice, and I had him behind, I'm not really sure why. I think mainly because my front three I was really, really happy with as that front three, so I think he'll be a really good right mid. And in the middle I've gone with a slightly more defensive and then a slightly more attacking, but I mean, I wouldn't call Ramsey that attacking personally, but I've got Bakayoko and I have Ramsey. Now Bakayoko is very, very good, and I think personally so far from what I've played, CDM is going to be the most important position in your team this year. Your defensive midfielder, I think, is going to play such a crucial role. So your centre mids, especially, I think you need to put a lot of concentration on, you need to pay a lot of attention to, and you need to work out what is working for you. And Bakayoko so far has worked very well for me. He has worked absolute wonders in both the beta and in the demo. So the stats, he's nice and quick, he's nice and big and strong and defensive, but the one thing that really stands out for me is his passing of 70. His passing is so good. It's not the highest stat, 70, it could be a lot higher. Obviously Ramsey's is 79, but the passing stat for me is high enough. He plays the balls out so well. I will do another video in the next couple of days about possession, because I think possession is going to be crucial this season on FIFA. So we'll talk more about that in another video, but those two as a midfield pairing I think is going to be really good, having Bakayoko on stay back while attacking and having Ramsey a little bit more free roaming, but not necessarily putting him on the player instructions, but he's going to push up just that little bit, play just behind the striker but comes back when he needs to. Talking about the striker, let's talk about that front three. Now, one thing you'll notice is pace. I've got 90 pace on King up top, and Nkoudou and Walcott both have 91 either side of him. Now, I've gone with these two again because I think they're going to be slightly cheaper than other options. Obviously, there are other options that I thought about, but these are the two I've gone for. Both have similar passing, and as I said, the R1 square, low-driven sort of bending cross is going to be really good this year, and especially for this kind of team where you've got three quick, pacey forwards, that's going to be crucial for you. So those three, I think, will work really well with that. Both of our wide players have good dribbling, and physicality is not their strong point, which is why I kind of put the others behind them, but their physical's not much higher, so I guess you could do it the other way. It was mainly for the pace and those whipping balls in. I think it's going to be more beneficial to have the quick players in front of your slightly slower wingers in a 3-4-3. Shooting, Walcott's got decent shooting, and Nkudou's got okay shooting. For a winger it's okay, I think it will do. And King has got 77 shooting, and for a 77 rated striker that's pretty good. And I think in general King is going to be sort of like Rashford was last year, where he's a bit cheaper than some of the other options and is quite overpowered. I think his card this year looks fairly similar to the Rashford card we had at the start of FIFA 17. So hopefully if you get any of these players, they work for you. I think the most expensive players on this team are going to be Bakayoko. I think to start off with, I think Stones is going to be a little bit pricey, but I think he'll go down eventually when it kind of calms down that he's lower rated, if that makes sense. But I'm hoping and thinking that this team is going to cost between 10 and 30k. Now the only obviously exception to any of this is the price ranges. I mean, Bakayoko's thing could start at 8k, and then of course we're looking probably at about 40-50k, but that's my initial bet. Without seeing the price ranges and seeing these kind of things, I don't know what these players are going to go for. So that's my guess at least, but this is a team I'm definitely going to consider in a sort of low budget team, and I think will work very well. But now we're going to look at my second team. Let's have a look. Okay, so the second team is rocking in a 3-4-3. I can't remember what variant that is actually. I can't remember, but it's got CDM and two centre mids. I'm sorry, I completely forgot what variant that is. But it is a Liga BBVA team. Now, every year I will make a Premier League team because it's the league I follow, and I like getting the informs and stuff from those leagues, because normally if they've got an inform and it's the Premier League, they're normally quite a good card. I think that's kind of fair to say that Premier League players tend to, in previous years, get a bit of a healthy buff from EA when they get informs especially. But I think BBVA this year is going to be really, really crucial, and I really want to actually try and get somewhere in FIFA 18 this year and actually try hard in things like the Weekend League, the new squad battles. I think it's all going to be very exciting, and I really actually want to push myself to try and achieve something on FIFA 18 this year. So I might have to divert to the BBVA for a little bit because that's where a lot of the best players in the game are. But let's have a look at this team. In goal, Cillessen. In the demo, Cillessen was incredible. He was very overpowered. He reminded me very much of Butland of 17 at the start, so that's the level of overpowered that we're talking right now. He really was very, very good. At right back, we've got Semedo, who I think is going to be... It was a tough one because I think his card looks really, really good. It's one of the best right back cards in the BBVA, in my opinion, stat-wise. But I think he might be a little bit expensive. So I put him in there as a... He might not be because he's 81 rated, but at the same time his stats look really, really good. I mean, 92 pace is always good. 80 dribbling, because obviously in previous years and previous FIFAs he has been a winger more than a fullback, but he kind of can play both. So that might be worth bearing in mind if he's pushed up at any point. I'm not saying he's going to outplay Messi, obviously, but if he's pushed up and playing more of a midfield role, he could get midfield informed. But if he's going to play, let's be honest, it's not going to be in front of Messi, it's going to be behind him. But defence stats look okay as well for a fullback. I'm not too fussed with those. On the other side, we've got Hernandez, who I think is going to be a cheap beast. I think he's going to be a bit like Van Aanholt last year, but a little bit slower, but still 86 pace, good defending and good physical, and I think all round he's going to be a very good and very cheap card. I think he's only going to be a couple of K, especially when the game comes out. And in the middle, Savic, who has always been a little bit cheap in my personal opinion. I know that I don't think he plays all that much for Atletico Madrid, but I think he has got a really good looking card this year. 63 pace, which I can deal with personally, but 83 physical I think is quite a big stat, and 74 defence is still quite high. So I think that's going to be a really, really good card. And next to him, a bit of a surprise even for myself, but Masado, I'm not sure how that's said. I think that card looks really, really good, especially for 76 rated. Now, 75 pace is really, really high for a centre-back. 60 dribbling, I thought that was quite good. 64 passing as well, which, again, talking about possession, I think that's a very nice stat. But 75 defence and 81 physical, that kind of offsets the slightly weaker Savic, in my opinion. So I think that's a really good pairing, and I really like that as a pairing itself. I think we're still working a 3, but I think that as a pairing is a really, really good pairing. Just in front of them, at CDM, we have Fuego, and the only stat that I think everyone's going to highlight is 56 pace. But in my opinion, at CDM, an extra centre-back almost at times, he's going to, for me at least, kind of drop and sit into a back 5 at times with how I intend to play this. But I think that doesn't matter when you've got 78 defence, 78 physical, 72 passing, and that in CDM, like I said with Bakayoko, is a high enough passing stat. I think that will really help hold that midfield and stop the attackers sort of countering you, especially when you sit him nice and deep. In front of him, we have Hernandez, and we have, I believe it said Vas. If I'm slaughtering that, I'm really sorry. Two cards that are very well rounded. Very, very well rounded. I mean, apart from defence, Hernandez has got everything 70 plus, and same actually for Vas, but he has got 80 passing and 79 dribbling, whereas Hernandez's best stats are 79 physical and 78 dribbling. Now, I think both of these cards will be really, really good playmakers and help you get from defence and kind of gaining possession to pushing the ball up to that front 3, and I think they're going to be really, really good and very, very overpowered cards this year. I think, especially looking at them, I think Vas is going to be a nice cheap beast. Up front, in the front 3, I've gone for something fairly similar to like I said in the other one, but the pace is a little bit less because those quick players are going to be more expensive, I think, in the BBVA, or the La Liga I should say, but it's worth bearing in mind. Left wing, depending on his price, I left him out because I think he will be expensive. Deulofeu at Barcelona's card looked absolutely disgusting. I've always been a fan of Deulofeu, but I think his card this year is going to be so, so good. But for that reason, I also think he's going to be quite expensive, which is why I left him out. But just bear that in mind. That's a little worth bearing in mind fact, I think, anyway. But our front 3, we have Piatti on one side and Tello on the other. Fairly similar apart from the pace that Tello's got. And there was one other stat that jumped out to me, passing, that was it. The passing is a little bit higher on Piatti, but again, for me, that's the crosses. That's whipping the ball in, getting it onto the feet or the head of our striker, Sanson. Now, the reason I picked Sanson is, for 79 rating, he's got 80 shooting, which is fantastic. He's got 82 dribbling, which again is fantastic, but he's also got 83 pace, and in my opinion, that is good enough for this kind of team. I think the way the build-up's going to happen with the quite quick and quite able crosses from the wingers, but also the build-up play from the likes of Vas and Hernandez, I think that's a very nice, well-rounded card. Another person that I thought of was Perez, who's just gone back to La Liga from Arsenal. His card looked really, really nice. I think it was 81 rated, and I think it had 82 pace, 83 shooting, something in that range. But I think he'll just be a little bit higher price, especially when the game comes out initially. Whereas I think Sanson is going to slip just under the radar and be that little bit cheaper. But guys, those are my 2 teams that I think I'm going to start looking at budget teams for the start of FIFA 18. Hopefully you find either one of those teams even slightly helpful, and if you did, then please let me know. If there are players you think I missed out, again, let me know in the comment section. But also, I want you to let me know other things you would like me to upload on the pre-release of FIFA 18. But guys, I want to say thank you so much for watching this video. Again, hope it helped, and I'm hoping it helps me, if nothing else. But guys, I will see you all very soon with a video tomorrow. So, I will see you later. Bye guys.